can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Dr. Jeremy Wise here, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs and leaders. Today is no different. I have Johann Nogueira. And Johann, I'm going to formally introduce you in a second, and he runs Comet Suite and White Label Suite. But I always like to mention other episodes of the podcast people should check out. And since this is a SaaS company, you can check out other SaaS interviews I did. I had Gavin Zaklinski of Acuity Scheduling, and he was a stickler for split testing and conversion. So that's a great episode to listen to. I had one of the co-founders of Wistia on and Svi Band of Contactually. I mean, he ended up selling that company, but all great episodes. Check them out. And this episode is brought to you by Rise25. Rise25, we help businesses give to and connect to their Dream 100 relationships. And how do we do that? We help you run your podcast. We're an easy button for you to help, launch and run your podcast. We do execution, we do accountability and strategy. For Johann, for me, the number one thing in my life is relationships. I'm always looking at ways to give to my best relationships. I know you're the same. And I found no better way to do that, to profile the people and companies I most admire over the past decade and let everyone know what they're working on. So if you've thought about podcasting, you should. If you have questions, go to rise25.com. And I'm excited to introduce Johann Nogueira, and he's built and grown and sold multiple companies over the past 20 years. And his knowledge of technology and marketing allows him to leverage and build systems that scales companies that works quickly. When I've talked to Johann, he has helped scale these things in a very condensed amount of time, which is pretty amazing. He's going to share some of his methodologies and what he does on this interview. And he is the co-founder of Comet Suite and White Label Suite. And Johann, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
So tell people a little bit about Comet Suite and White Label Suite.
Yeah, for sure. I'll start off with Comet Suite. So I had this friend who, funnily enough, he interviewed me on a podcast 5 years ago. And then we ended up keeping in touch, being friends. And then every couple of months, he'd hit me up saying, hey, I really want to do something with you. Hey, I really want to do something with you. And he was persistent. And then it turns out I go on holiday. And I'm on a holiday with him, in the Gold Coast. That's where he lives. And so I messaged him and I said, hey, I'm in your town. Do you want to catch up? Do you want to have breakfast? And he said, yeah, for sure. Let's do it. So we catch up for breakfast. And he starts going, I'm like, hey, tell me, what are you working on? He's like, working on this business, working on this business, working on this business. I'm like, holy moly. He literally had 7 different businesses, 7 different brands, 7 different everything, 7 separate companies. And the man was pulling his hair out. So I said, did you know that they all link exactly? They all link together and you have the exact same customer base. And because he was so in it, he'd never seen it. Now, 13 years he's put into these softwares. And, here they are on the screen. Thank you for sharing. And 13 years,
if you're listening to the audio only, I am on the video part. You can see I'm on Comet Suite and you can see some of the elements in there.
Yep, for sure. And so he's 50,000 customers later, not a database, customers. And I said, oh my God, you've got gold sitting right here. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, here. And we crafted an offer. And I said, here, go try this out. And he calls me back 2 weeks later. He's like, you have no idea how much money I just made. And I'm like, that's great. Well done. And he said, I want you to be my business partner. I said, hey, look, I've got a lot of stuff going on. Maybe another time, but good luck. I've given you the strategy. Go implement that. Anyway, we went into lockdown. Real quick,
Johann. So the strategy was he had all his software. So we went to maybe one of the softwares and offered the other software to that group. Is that accurate?
He actually sold it as a bundle, like all of them together, to agencies who are the ideal clients of this software. And literally, he pulled in more than $200,000 in the 2 weeks. And he's like, this is incredible. Can you be my business partner? And I'm like, why would you give away a part of your company when you can just go and do what I asked, said you should do? Anyway, so that was that conversation. And then we went into lockdown. So we were in lockdown for 300 days. And anyway, I go over to my neighbor's house, and he's a successful business owner as well. And I'm telling him about the software. And he goes, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to call you on it. There's no way that the software can exist because it would literally be life-changing. And I said, it exists. And at 2 a.m, we're sitting there, 2 a.m, messaging Walt saying, hey, we need to see a demo because my friend doesn't believe that this software exists. So he goes, okay, cool. So we jump on the next morning, we do a demo, and Chris is messaging me. He's like, this is absolutely insane. I cannot believe that this exists. This is a game changer. So that's how Comet Suite started. 2 days later, we went back to Walt and said, these are the improvements you need to make. And he said, I want both of you to be in the business. And we said, all right, cool. You know what? We're going to pretend like we're, in the business, and you have until December to kick us out of the business with no hard feelings. And that was April last year. December's gone and passed. We've built the company with significant foundations so that's how Comet Suite happened. And by the way, the first 3 months was integrating all those different softwares together to make it one suite. And then the next 3 months was trying to sell it. And I say trying because we tried to sell it and we got a 5% conversion rate. Now that is horrible. And so I went to the people who didn't buy and said, why didn't you buy? And they said, well, there's so much in the software, I'm going to have to hire 5 people to run this thing. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. And, for those of you who are looking at the screen, there's a ton of stuff in here. And so
we see some of the features. If you're looking at it, it says, here are the different features. And kind of like what you said, combining all into one, there's on-demand lead generation, artificial intelligence, social media posting, personalized landing pages, website concierge, and it goes on and on. Phone dialer, email marketing, SMS marketing, all these things in one.
There is a lot. And so people's minds were literally blown. And so I called up the people who did buy, and I said, what are you using of our software? And they said, we're only using the leads. So the leads was the major thing. That it was a 99.9%. There was one person who said, I'm using the social, but everybody else was using leads. And we said, all right, cool. So we changed our offer. And our offer became, how would you like 1,000 leads every month, 1,000 market qualified leads who want to meet with you for $300? And that's what changed everything. Our conversion rate went to 80%. We just started growing and growing and growing. And I'm like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. Now, for our software to work, because they're all 7 different pieces of software, we need to plug the software into a CRM. We didn't want to build our own CRM. I've got a lot of friends who've built CRMs, and the amount of headaches that come with CRMs, there's companies who've dedicated their lives to having a CRM. Great. I don't want to own my own. Let's plug into theirs. So we plugged into a CRM. And the first one we plugged into is called GHL. So we plugged into them and we started offering it as a pre-CRM because we've got all these other big companies who use Salesforce, HubSpot, Infusionsoft, etc., Agile. And they said, hey, what do you, when we first said, hey, we'll give you a CRM, they said, I'm not switching. I've spent 20, 30, 50, 100, $200,000 on my CRM. We said, oh, okay, cool. Our CRM that we give them acts as a pre-CRM. So what it does is what's the where you find the needle in the haystack. So we find all the good people out of those 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 leads, and only the ones who are ready to buy, the ones who have intent, the ones who really want to connect with you, they get sent into your real setup, for your existing CRM with the infrastructure. So that's what happened there. And so now we're, plugging into all the other CRMs. We can if people need to, but we sell it as a package where they get the CRM plus all of our software, and all the qualified leads go directly into their CRM. So that's what happened there. And then White Label Suite 3 months ago. Literally, it didn't exist 3 months ago. So these guys who are part of this CRM came and said, hey, can you white label your software? I said, what do you mean? I mean, yeah, we're planning to, but in June next year. I said, oh, okay. Can you do it by Monday? Now, this wasn't a Friday. So we literally had to get all of our devs on, and we had a 3-day massive hackathon, and we white labeled the thing, and we launched it on the Monday over a webinar. That day, we got 100 clients. By the end of the week, we had 200 clients. Now, 3 months later, we're at 650 clients. And that's happened through 3 joint ventures. So 650 clients with 3 joint ventures is pretty awesome. So we decided, okay, who else can we partner with? We right now have a list of 157 JVs that we're launching next year. So that's the trajectory of where we're going. And anyone in business who needs leads, who wants to connect with their ideal clients, their dream 100, right? This is definitely not about sending out 10, 20, 50,000 emails. We're not about that. It's about identifying your ideal clients, understanding all their pain points, creating an irresistible offer, presenting it to them, getting them to engage with you, and then building a relationship and then doing business. So that's what we do. So that's the story of Comet Suite, how it came about, and then how White Label Suite has come about. And just to add a little bit more context, so we have a parent company called Comet Global. Comet Global goes and buys other software, builds, or develops other software, puts that into the suite, which then goes into White Label Suite, which then we have all these digital agencies who can now white label it, sell it as their own, charge whatever price they want to charge. And then Comet Suite is now become just one out of the 650 users of White Label Suite. So yeah, so that's how it all fits in together.
Thanks for laying that out. There's a couple of points I want to hit on, Johann, here. And one is, as far as what were the reasons why they wanted to white label it? What are the reasons why someone wants to use the white label version?
So so Comet Suite is more, it's going to have our branding. It's going to have our, it's got our stuff. They log into our URL. With the white label, they can log into their own URL. So these are people who are now logging in, selling our product as their product, and they can charge whatever. So a lot of the people came to us saying, you are charging too little. The value that you add is so much. I can charge way more. Can I put it under my brand and charge more? So we said, yes, you can. So we've got people who buy our software at a very, very cheap price, and they're reselling it for quadruple, 5 times, 10 times what they pay us. The reason being is because the way it works. So I'll give you an example. I think that works best.
Yeah, let's give an agency example, because I think part of it is they're charging more. The part of it is they're probably helping run it for the clients a little bit, or overlaying strategy or other things, I imagine.
That's right. So there's 3 main business models that they use here. The first one is they use the software to generate leads for themselves. The second one is they use the software to generate leads for their clients and charge their clients on a pay-per-lead model. Now, I believe digital agencies are going to have a massive disruption next year and the year after, where the retainer model is going to be going away, and it'll be changing to a pay-per-lead model, because a lot of clients really, really don't like paying that management fee, especially with their advertising, etc. Because once you've got the ad set up and they're nicely and they're humming, the amount of work required to tweak them is not that much. But paying a big retainer every month, the client feels like, but I'll give you an example. So if we go to a dentist and say, hey, Mr. Dentist, I'm going to generate you teeth whitening leads, and I charge you $2,000 a month as a retainer, and then you've got to spend on the ads another $2,000. The dentist is like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And then if you go to the dentist and go, hey, by the way, I want to charge you double now, so my retainer is going to $4,000 a month, the dentist is going to tell you where to go, right? But if we change it to a pay-per-lead model, and you go to the dentist and go, hey, I'm going to generate you clients for teeth whitening or for Invisalign, and I know that you sell it for $15,000. Let's use Invisalign; it's a real case study. $15,000 a pop. I want $2,000 as my fee. Now we know that they make between $7,000 to $8,000 profit from that. Are they happy to give up $2,000? The answer is yes. So now they're only paying for people who are sold, and they're definitely making that profit. So that's a pay-per-lead model. So now if we go to Mr. Dentist and say, hey, Mr. Dentist, you're only spending $2,000 on Facebook, and you're getting 50, 100, closed clients. How about we double that because you've got a new chair opened up, or you've got some extra doctors? Let's double your ad spend. Yes, let's do that. Now, when they say yes, not only is they doubling the ad spend, they're actually doubling the amount of money that you're getting because you're generating more leads, you're getting paid for the leads. So that's the pay-per-lead model. And then the third one is they install the software. This is a white label one. They install the software for their client. They show their client how to use the software, and then they charge them a retainer every month for that. But they have access to the software to generate leads on demand as they need to. So they buy it from us at wholesale, and then they sell it at whatever price they want. So that's the 3 different business models that work over there.
Johann, one of the things that shifted that made a big difference that you mentioned is the messaging, refining the messaging. And, we're looking at, so just stop for a second and talk about what was the messaging before. And you can see, if you're watching the video, you can see when you go to the white label suite.com or commentsuite.com, you can see how the messaging is, right? White label suite says 1,000 search results per month, 300 per month, and you're really talking about leads. What did the messaging start off as? And then same thing with Comet Suite, it says 1,000 leads per month, 2,000 leads per month, or 5,000 leads per month. So you really refined the messaging.
100%. So with Comet Suite, we offer everything. We build your funnels, we do your marketing, we write the copy, we write the emails, we do all the visual design of your product. We help you launch your product. It's a very much a concierge, type service where we are building it with you. And it is staff. We started hiring tons of staff to cater to look after the clients. So that's what Comet Suite was and is. And so from there, when we switched to white label suite, because they were selling to digital agencies, they already have all of that infrastructure, but they don't have the tool. So now they just want access to the tool. So we give them access to the tool. And then once in the back end, we train them on exactly how to use it. So now they are selling their clients leads, market qualified leads all day long.
What was the original messaging that you said wasn't working?
It's here. Hey, Jeremy, I'm gonna build you a website. I'm gonna build you funnels. I'm gonna have auto dialers on there. I'm gonna do design for you. I'm gonna run your email campaigns. I'm gonna run reactivation campaigns. We're gonna write out scripts for your chatbot. We're gonna do da 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 da. And your brain just goes, that sounds like a lot of work, Johann. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure I need it, but dude, I need a holiday just to write out all this stuff that you're talking about. I don't have time for that. And that's what the messaging was. And so when we changed to 2, we'll give you 1,000 leads a month for $300. It just became simple.
Yeah, I love it because you looked at the user behavior and then you actually talked to the users, your best users, and why they bought, and they gave you the answers. It sounds like for that messaging.
Exactly. They didn't. We had all of these cool features, which we were obsessed with. We're like, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. They're like, yeah, we don't really care about that. We just want this. Help us make this thing work better and all of our problems get solved. And we went, wow, because leads are cash flow into the business. The more, like we've got companies now who are growing exponentially because now they can hire more and more sales staff while closing more deals with their ideal clients, which then brings more cash flow in. And then they're growing. So yeah, that's, at the end of the day, that was the thing that changed everything.
I want to talk about partnerships because even you have a track record over the years of really skyrocketing with partners and your philosophy around partners. And let's take GHL as an example. Do you plan to integrate with other CRMs as well?
100%. So yes, we will. We've built it so that it can plug into Infusionsoft, HubSpot, Salesforce, Agile, etc. And we've API'd it. So pretty much they just log in, they click a button, and it's connected to their CRM. But if they want to, because all of those the mentioned CRMs, as soon as you add another 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 leads into your company, into your account, you go up to the next tier. And so it becomes an expensive exercise because we've got on here 1,000 searches. Now, 1,000, on this page, it says 1,000 leads, but it's actually 1,000 searches. Now, one search can actually yield 10,000 results. because if you look at a particular company, if we search for real estate agents in Chicago, for example, every company has about 10 real estate agents whose contact details you're going to get. So that one search yields 10 results. So 1,000 searches yields 10,000 contacts into your database. So if you plug that into the other CRMs, you start going up in the tiers very quickly. That's why we say, hey, use our pre-CRM. Figure out who out of those 10,000 who are the real people who want to do business with you. It might be 200 that are ready to go right now. Awesome. Let's get those guys into your existing CRM who have qualified and you've nurtured them, and now they are your ideal clients to work with.
Yeah. I'll take, we've used Infusionsoft before, we've used ActiveCampaign before, but if you take ActiveCampaign, right, for example, 1,000 contacts could be, once you start increasing this with the different features, that goes up very, very quickly, right?
Yep. The slide that scale up to 10,000, see what happens.
And that's yeah, exactly. You could see also you're paying per email as well.
Correct.
So this is like a base price, and then you're paying on top of that for the emails that you're sending as well. It looks like.
Yep.
So what were some of the, with the software, you're always improving. Originally, you went to Walt and said, hey, we want these improvements. What were you seeing originally that you wanted improving, and what's some of the feedback you're getting now that has been added in because of the feedback from the customers?
Yeah, for sure. I'll give you an example. So we are API'd into some of the biggest platforms like Google Maps, LinkedIn, etc. And so because we're API'd in, we actually have no database. We store no data. And every search that people are doing, it's getting done in real time, and it's finding the exact source as well. So we have, hey, this is where we found the data. It's publicly available on their website. So there's no, scraping is a bad word. So we say, hey, look, we've API'd directly, and this is where the data is available. You can go check it out. And you can find this manually if you wanted to. And here's where you would find it. Here's a link. So some of the improvements, I'll give you an example. We had a CEO, not the CEO, a leadership coach. He works with us, and he's a client. And he said, hey, it would be great if I could find all the people who are on LinkedIn right now are talking about leadership is important. I went, well, easy. Developers, can you do that? Yes, we can. Okay. So now we can go into the search. We can say, I'm looking for CEOs in Manhattan, CEOs of tech companies in Manhattan who say leadership is important. Why? Because that is that guy's ideal clients. If they are talking about leadership is important, we know that he can already strike up a conversation, and he can say, hey, I know that you're talking about leadership is important. I am the head leadership coach at blah, 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 blah. I'd love to come and talk to your people for free and show them and prove, how important leadership is, and it can turn your business around. Now, he did this for one of our syndicates. And one of the companies that does $2.5 billion a year said, we need him. And they hired him to come do a full 2-day workshop with their entire leadership team. So that's how, if you know what people are talking about, if you know what's top of mind, if you know what's, keeping them up at night, you can find that in there. We had a physiotherapist. The physiotherapist comes in, and we said, okay, who do you love working with? She goes, I love working with CEOs. And by the way, over here in Australia, most CEOs are the owners as well. And I know in America, CEOs are employed by the owners. So that's a distinction there. So when I talk about CEOs, I'm talking about owners. And so she said, I love working with CEOs in Melbourne who have a broken hamstring. That's the detail that it goes into. So she gets a list of 1,000 CEOs who've had a broken hamstring, and she sends them a message and says, hey, Johann, I know that you've had a broken hamstring. Here's a 2-minute video on how to strengthen your knees and get that strength back so that you can function fully. Now, if I get that message, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm going to watch that video. I want to become strong again, right? Click. And then as soon as I click on that, the system knows that I'm watching that video. The system will then send me another email or a text message or a voicemail, whichever way that she set it up, saying, hey, Johan, you watched that video. Congratulations. We've got 4 more videos, which will show you how to strengthen your shoulders, your back, da, 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 da. Would you like access to them? Yes. Hey, by the way, do you want to also join our Facebook group with these other amazing CEOs who you can network with? Yes. So you see, she's a physiotherapist. What physiotherapist does this kind of service, right? So that's marketing and strategy. So now she's added me to a group. I'm like, wow, there's some cool people here. And then I get a message saying, hey, by the way, here's a voucher. Come in, come see me for free. You've already seen my videos. You know I can add value to you. And then she'll sell them a $3,000 to $5,000 a year plan to get their physiotherapy done for the rest of the year. Easy. So it's systemized. So that's how that works.
What's let's talk about your philosophy and approach when communicating with partners, right? And we could use GHL as an example, right? Because you make it sound easy, but I know you probably are communicating with them. You probably approach a certain way, and that resulted in hundreds of clients because of it. So when you're thinking this is a perfect partner for us, right? In GHL, what's that approach look like?
What does that approach look like? So we went to the easy. You show people how it works. So we went to the conference in Dallas. They had their first Level Up conference. It was amazing. We had a booth there, and we had these amazing banners which were built for attracting clients. So we had all these people running up to our banners and scanning them and watching the demo videos and signing up. And so they're looking across. If you just look across the sea of people, everybody is at our booth watching the demos, signing up, watching the demos, signing up. And they came up and they're like, who the hell are you guys? Like, what's going on? Why is everybody raving about you? And so then we showed them what we do. And they're like, wow, you could really increase our retention. Because, hey, if somebody's got a CRM that's there, it's good. But if it's not being utilized, then it becomes a liability and just an expense. Whereas what we do is we bring in qualified leads into the system. And now if people are working those qualified leads, they're going to stick around. They're not going to leave the CRM. So that's what we do. So that's how the conversation started. Then we started talking to all the different vendors who support GHL in this case. And so all of those people, we've started banding together and promoting each other. Hey, I'll promote you, you promote me. Let's, we've all got the same audience. We all add value and give them a choice. It's, gone are the days of, no, this is my client. I'm gonna, I don't want to share my database sort of thing. It's, hey, this is everyone's client. If it's our job, it's our duty to educate them on the different offers that there are. And so this actually happened with my other company. And with the previous company that I had, we built it to 20 million in 4 years, and then we sold it. And how did we manage to grow that fast? It was easy. We actually found the leaders in the space. We partnered up with each one of those leaders. And at the start, nobody wants to partner because everybody thinks you're a competitor. So I went to the first one and I said, hey, I see that you're selling this. I'm going and presenting next week to client number, this client who I know you would love to have as a client. Can I go and sell your stuff to them? And they're like, what do you mean? What's the catch? I'm like, no catch. I want to sell your stuff. I want to add it on as my product. It bolts onto mine. It gives them massive value because now they don't have to deal with 2 vendors. They deal with 1. And I'll take care of all the support with you. Like, we'll work that out. But let me show you how it works. And they're like, okay. So I went, I pitched, I won the client, send them the details, said, hey, here, invoice me. Let's go. And they're like, wow. And then next week, another one, next week, another one. They're like, dude, all right, cool. Come in. Let's have a chat. So we have a chat and they go, this is amazing. Yeah, let's partner up. Let's make everything official. And we'll sell your stuff too. I said, great. That'll be good because now you've got a competitive advantage over the other people. And then I went to the next one and I said, hey, do you want to join our little cohort? I'm selling my stuff and these guys' stuff, and I'd love to sell your stuff. And so that's how we did it. And we ended up having, the first 3 started. And then the other 2 came running up to us saying, can we be part of your little syndicate? It'll be awesome. So that's how we did that. And the clients were happy because they only had to deal with 1 vendor. I was happy because now I 5 times my sales force. Like, it was the best strategy ever because we had 5 companies selling our product now all day long. And we were just getting orders. And we're like, we have no idea where these orders are coming from, but it's great. Well, we do have an idea where they're coming from, but you understand what I'm saying. We don't actually have live people out in the field. Orders is coming through. And these are not orders for anything cheap. Like, our base product was $50,000 a year. And then on the back end of that, there was, anyway, I won't talk about financials, but you understand how all that works. Yeah, so that's partnerships. It's all about win-win-win. So we find people who have a complementary database, who need our service, need their service, and then we will work together to sell our services, sell their services, and anybody else's who needs, which enhances that client's experience.
Yeah, and a couple things that I observed for that, thanks for sharing that breakdown, is, you think of what do they want? You also band together and promote, and it kind of have an abundance mindset. But the other thing that sticks out is you put your money where your mouth is. Like you didn't email really in the GHL example. You showed up, you paid for a booth, and you showed up and added value and paid them. And same thing with that other scenario is like you referred them a client and paid them. They're like, this person's serious. So sometimes it's just, it seems like, yes, an email, you probably could have started that relationship, but you start off, it seems like, here, like, I value this. I'm going to pay you for this.
Yeah.
Is that?
100%. When I started my digital agency, we're talking about 2008 now. I said, hey, I love building websites. And then I said, who's got my clients? Who's got the guys who I want? And it was other digital agencies. So can you imagine a digital agency going up to another digital agency saying, can I build websites for you? They're like, what? You're a competitor. What do you mean, can you build websites for us? I'm like, I don't want to go and find clients. You have got 8 developers and 4 salespeople. What would happen if you had 8 salespeople and 4 developers just in case we screwed up? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, 4 developers just in case, any emergency work you need to do. But have 8 salespeople. I will give you fixed cost. I will give you better quality, faster turnaround, fully systemized. All you have to do is make the sale, give me this data, I will build it, and scope creep, all of that, I will absorb all that, and you have a fixed cost, and this is how much I'm going to charge you, and this is how much you can sell it for. And so by saying that to them, they went, oh, okay, cool. So we onboarded 36 agencies. So we had 36 agencies all day, every day, sending us work. And by the way, the hook was, let me show you, I will build your first project for free. Now, this project cost me money because I had to pay people in order to make this happen. But after I proved that our systems worked, all day, every day, these guys are selling and sending it to us for fulfillment. We would white label it and give it back to them. So I've been white labeling since 2008. Yeah, always give before you ask.
Love it. You had someone, and call you one morning, crying.
Yes, it was a couple of weeks ago. My phone rings and I pick up the phone, and not many people have my phone number. This guy says, Johann, I'm like, yes. And he starts crying, and I'm like, okay, like this is an odd call to receive at 8 a.m. I'm like, dude, are you okay? Can I call somebody for you? Like, why are you calling me? Who are you? And can I help you? What do you need right now? Because I'm not used to people crying. I was in a bit of a panic mode. And he's like, no, sorry, I just had to compose myself. Johann, I just wanted to call and say, I was at my lowest point. I had $2,000 left in my bank account, and we had to decide whether we feed the family or whether we put the kids through school. The school fees were overdue. My business was failing. My wife was hassling me, saying, you need to go get a job, go drive an Uber, do whatever you need to do, get some money in the door, because whatever you're doing is not working. He goes, emotionally, physically, mentally, I was drained. I was smashed. I watched your webinar and I said, you know what? I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to do it. And he did it. He signed up. And then now 2 months later, he's making a consistent $80,000 a month. He goes, I'm calling because I want to send you a bottle of champagne. Can you let me know where to send it? I said, screw the bottle of champagne. Send me that on video. Right? Because I'm like, but I need you to tell me, how did you do it? How did you go because 80,000 is a ton of money for somebody who is telling me that they were, at rock bottom. How did you do it? He said, easy. I went into your software and I typed in CEOs, property investment. So he found all the CEOs, property investment, and then over here in Melbourne, he typed in Mornington Peninsula. So it's the rich part of town, $2 million plus houses. That's all he did. And now anyone can do this in any city in the world. So he found the list of all the CEOs who are interested in property investment. He sent them an email. By the way, it's going on to 1,000 CEOs, right? So he didn't do a personal email. It would say something like this. Hey, Jeremy, I know that you run rise25.com. Congratulations. And I also know that you love investing in property. Now, on our books, we have 200 amazing properties, of which 3 are absolute standouts. Would you like to see these deals? Because they return between 10 to 15%. Now, if this is going out to smart CEOs, what is the response going to be? Their brains are thinking, well, this guy's done all the hard work for me. From 200, he's filtered it down to 3. I'm a smart person. I can make a quick decision on whether I can, if that's a good deal or not. Yeah, send me the deals. And then he goes, great. Thank you. Thank you, James. Please fill out these 3 little radio buttons. I'm ready to buy now, ready to buy in 3 to 6 months, ready to buy in 6 months plus. I have 1 million, 0 to 500,000 in equity, 500,000 plus, $1 million plus, for example. And then the other one was location-based, city or regional. And now this is a qualified lead who said, yes, they have this amount of money. They were looking to buy in this amount of time and this region. And then he contacted the real estate agents and said, I have high net worth individuals ready to buy a house right now or in 3 months. Would you like the lead? This is the data I have on them. And the real estate agents would say, hell yeah. And so he would sell those leads to them for $2,000 a pop. Why $2,000? Because these guys make $30,000 to $50,000 commission. For them, it's easy. How did he risk reverse that? He said, if you don't get a sale from this, I will send you another lead on me. Right? So they are guaranteed to get a sale from this. So hell yeah, they're ready to, they're very happy to put down $2,000. And from his database, he generated, I can't remember, but it was more than a couple of thousand real estate agents. He had them clamoring to buy these leads from him, which all he needed was 40 a month to get his 80,000. And I went, wow, that's brilliant. So yeah, so that's the story about him.
You also had an event organizer.
Yeah. So we event organizers, right? And this is a person trying to run an event. And what they do is they'd run around, get speakers, they'd cover the cost. They would actually make money on the ticket sales at the end. So we put together a system for them where we said, okay, let's go find all the amazing speakers. We shortlisted 200 speakers, send them an email and said, hey, would you like to be a speaker? This is the event. This is the audience. It's 200 business owners are going to be at this event. Would you like to be in front of them? And coincidentally, the price was $2,000 to come and speak on stage, which covered your sizzle reel and promotions and all this other stuff. And so we had sent an email out to 200 people. 8 of them said, yes, let's go. I'm ready to go now. So, not 8. It was 6. 6 of them said, yes, I'm ready to go. So they made $12,000 just from the speakers straight up front. They were looking for, 10 speakers, 6 already with 1 email campaign straight away. In 24 hours, they've got their deal. Then they emailed all the business owners saying, hey, we've got these amazing speakers and we've got a Facebook group. Would you like to join the Facebook group? Which social proof, people click, they come, they see all these other business owners. Then they can see the sizzle reels in there of all the amazing speakers and what they're going to learn. And then would they like to buy a ticket for $500? Now we send an email out to 1,500 business owners. Again, we've chosen who they are and we've written a compelling email as to why they should come. From that, I can't remember the exact number, but the tickets were $500 and they made $60,000 in sales just from that. Now, the third way they did it was they went to sponsors and they said, hey, we've got 10 amazing speakers. We've got 200 business owners coming. Would you like to sponsor the event? And then they said yes or no. And again, I can't remember how many. It was about 150, 200 sponsors were targeted, of which I think 8 of them closed at $3,000 on average because they had gold, medium, and gold, silver, and bronze packages. So that event made them close to $100,000 before they even ran the event.
I love it, Johann. This has been fantastic. I want to encourage people to check out cometsuite.com and whitelabelsuite.com and more episodes of inspiredinsider.com. And Johann, I'm going to be the first one to thank you. Thanks for sharing your journey, your knowledge, and your stories.
My pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I'm feeling like 100 grand.